Tonight, we talk about North Baton Rouge, the history, how we can help, and why the importance of that part of Baton Rouge means so much to East Baton Rouge Parish. And then there is a program involving reading, working hard, and young people. I can't wait to tell you about it. Roll it, Ed. So often you pick up the newspaper and you read something about North Baton Rouge, and more often than not, it isn't positive, or you turn on the TV news and you hear about crime. But do you really understand how we got to this place? Well, let's help you with that. Tonight, our guest is Pat LeDuff, who is one of the most amazing Baton Rougeans you will ever meet. And she has so much knowledge about North Baton Rouge. Went to school there, is a graduate of the Southern University, and is here with us. Hey, Pat, how are you?
Hey, Clay, how are you?
It's so good to have you here. So, as I just said a second ago, when people hear North Baton Rouge, the first thing that comes to mind is crime or something negative, right?
Right.
And you're a lifelong resident of North Baton Rouge. So let's start at the beginning. That wasn't specifically Scotlandville. That was an industrial part of Louisiana where there were thriving businesses and people doing well there. Let's start there.
Absolutely. So, you know, I would say 50 years ago. Let's go back 50 years.
Okay.
So then we had our own cap station.
Yeah.
We had our own bank. The post office was there. We had small businesses along Scotland Avenue, which is Highway 19.
Right.
Most of our residents were employed with the state, the city, Southern University, or ExxonMobil. And so we were doing well. You know, our schools needed help. They still need help, but that was because of the money not being channeled to our schools.
Right.
But we did the best with the best teachers that we could have to work with.
People may not even know this, but there were people in other parts of the country who moved to Louisiana and specifically to the Scotlandville area because of the opportunities there.
Absolutely. So
let's talk about that.
So Southern University.
Yep, moved up from New Orleans to Scottsbluff.
ExxonMobil. People came to Louisiana because of ExxonMobil.
Right.
And there were great opportunities where you could actually get your start as a small business. I mean, we promote small business.
Right.
And so that has never been an issue before. And so now, because of what we're going through with the economy and all of that, it's hard for small businesses to jumpstart now.
Right.
So we have Southern University helping with that. And the buzzword now is small business. So that's helping to go back to that. But that's the thing that killed our community.
It was a lot more diverse
Yes.
years ago. And when you hear people talk about it now without having an understanding of the history, I mean, what are your thoughts? I know the word activist has now become some political thing, but you've been an activist for the growth and the betterment of an area, but not at the detriment of any other part of Baton Rouge. When people don't know the history of that area, they can't truly get why people are so passionate about it, right?
Absolutely. When we moved to Banks on Sussex Street, we were the first black couple family to move there. So there were all Caucasians on my street, okay? And so
white
folks, tell it like it is, white folks. And so in my third grade class, basically coming from Polk Elementary with all black, I was like one of 5 in my class that was black.
Yeah.
And so it was a middle class a middle class white community.
Sure.
White flight.
Yeah.
Once we start moving in, they start moving out.
Let's talk about that. That is something that people talk about all the time, is the flight.
Right.
And one of the things I always endeavor to do here is have like real honest conversations with people and not really sugarcoat anything. But that's a thing that has been talked about for so long. But that was in an era in America that is in a lot of ways different than now. That really was a thing, that people didn't want to be in neighborhoods where black families were moving in at that time. Talk about that.
Almost a thing now. We still got some white folks that don't want us in their community.
Okay.
So let's start there. But for the most part, this generation is changing that.
Yeah.
And if you want to be real, when the last prejudiced white folk person died, with their brown baby, that we're going to all get along, because this generation really doesn't care.
No, they want to work together.
They want to work together, and they want to be together. They want to love together. They want to make families together.
Yeah.
And not only do they want to, it's happening.
What about passive, unconscious bias that people may have? Oh, I got 30 seconds. Ed's telling me in my ear. So yeah, that's right. The stove is on and the pot is cooking. We're going to come back and talk more with Pat LeDuff about North Baton Rouge. Stay there, and I can't wait to tell you about another program we're going to talk about later in the show. Back in just a moment. All right, let's continue our discussion with Pat LeDuff, who is in the studio, in the chair, talking with us about North Baton Rouge. I was going into commercial break thinking about bias that someone may have. And, again, you use words now that are all that have become a part of some political lexicon. That's not what this is. When you don't see an area, because you don't have to see parts of Scotlandville or parts of the Brookstown area or drive through parts of Gus Young, you can drive around it. You don't see it.
That's right.
So you may not even understand that you have a bias to an area just because you don't see it. Why is it so important for people to be boots on the ground in those areas?
So that they can encourage people to see it. On our website for Scotlandville CDC, we have a tour Scotlandville. When we got the Coca-Cola company there, and then we got a car lot there, and then the Baton Rouge Airport did their improvements, and then we had the mosquito abatement. Then we had almost a $2 million library to come along. Southern University's been doing improvements. So, and whether you talk about the Family Dollar or the General Dollar, they still were stores that brought commerce into our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, Liberty Bank stands right, at the gates of faithfully at the gates of Southern University. And there are improvements. In the 19 with Bradley Brown and his group, it's going to be amazing what that little complex is going to look like. And as people see things happening, they get hope.
It builds energy.
Builds energy.
We were talking during the commercial break about the two sides of the reality of race. And one of them is that there are white male business owners, and women too, who want to invest in North Baton Rouge. And I've been in conversations where people have said, I don't know what to do, what can we do?
That's right.
And the two things are, time and money.
Right.
Spend a little time there to see what the reality is,
That's
and then
right.
there needs to be an investment in the area.
That's right.
I think, and it dovetails into crime. When you don't put energy into an area and there's neglect there, bad things are only going to pop up, right?
Because they have their bills to pay.
Yeah.
And I'm not for selling drugs, and I'm not for using drugs.
Right.
But when you're on the ground with me,
Yeah.
it's either sell the drugs to pay your rent, or you have nowhere to stay for your family.
Right.
So it's our job to provide an opportunity, provide the training, provide the jobs, so that that's not an option.
Yeah.
You don't even think about that, you know.
But to the business guys that want to invest and to take that point and expand it out, if you can help encourage and grow a labor force there, skilled, educated people, and I'm not talking about just educated in terms of some science of a four-year institution, trade, something that someone can do out and be productive,
Yes.
that almost instantly changes the complexity and complexion of an area, right?
Right, and it's changing now. I
Yeah.
mean, we have the program with Exxon, we have the program through Baton Rouge Community College, and it's overflowing into the high schools. So I say to them, develop, develop, develop. We have a master plan for Scotlandville that
Sure.
we've been working on through the School of Architecture prior to them merging with the engineering department. And we have a shortage of housing and a shortage of shopping retail. And so basically that's what we need. If you're interested, then come spend some time in there and find out where you can put a business, where you can put a grocery store, and make it happen. I'm done talking. I mean, we've been doing this now almost 30 years.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize or to figure out what's going to move Scotlandville or North Baton Rouge forward.
Sure.
It's businesses.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think waiting on the government to do it is just not the solution. It's going to take those of us who want to see it better to actually do something, to come to the table with solutions. Let's talk about schools.
Okay.
Have you met the new school superintendent yet, Dr. Narcisse?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
So he's here, and I know that he's brand new on the ground. He's still got the new car smell, so we
Yeah,
got to give him a
yeah,
little
yeah,
time to
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
integrated. But that's another important thing,
Yes.
is investing in the schools
Yes.
so that they can have an impact on those areas, right?
That's right. That's right. And he's awesome. I met him at Scotlandville High, and his interest is to improve the schools and the opportunity for a better education for every school in every neighborhood. And so, and I want to push him on that, and I hope he doesn't get any pushback because there's some things going to have to happen, and some things going to have to change.
Like what? Oh boy! Look, if you
can
were
start,
about to
you can
hesitate to say something, look, Pat, I'm afraid to even ask you what you were going to say. If you were about to hesitate, look how nervous Mel is over there behind camera one. Get up off the floor, Mel. Okay.
Well, let's just get behind our new superintendent.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And build capacity
Yeah.
and empower the principals of those schools.
Okay.
And hold every principal at
Yeah.
your school
Yeah.
accountable for the education of those students. Was that kind of cute?
No, that was fine. Look, I'm not going to poke the bear here. All right, look, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the crime and then some other solutions for that part of Baton Rouge, and barbers, books, and badges. Huh? I'm going to tell you about it in just a moment. You're watching The Clay Young Show on WBRZ+. All right, one more segment with Pat LeDuff. Pat, let's talk about crime in North Baton Rouge. And I wanted to get to these other areas first, but you cannot talk about what it can become without addressing the crime, specifically young black males shooting at young black males every day, all day long. What about the crime there? How can we do something about it?
Well, let's start with the fact that you need to check your numbers because North Baton Rouge, we've carried the stigma of we're the worst neighborhood, anywhere between us and Brookstown.
Right.
However, prior to the pandemic, we were one of the safest neighborhoods.
Crime was declining, and the chief has talked about that, how it was dropping, and then the pandemic changed everything.
Absolutely, but we were still being, named for that, and we were, Community Against Drug and Violence, which is the other organization that I work with. So we did neighborhood take back in '93, and we have continued to progress. And that happened with bringing information and resources to families to build capacity within the family. You have to build capacity within the family.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to have support. It's rough. I mean, when you're making $7 an hour, you got 4 and 5 kids, and some say, well, maybe you shouldn't even have the kids. But guess what? The kids are here.
Right.
Okay, and so you have rent that we allow to go skyrocket. So you could find a house in North Baton Rouge, $400, $500, $600. Now it's even $1,200 there. So then you have the mental stress.
Right.
And then you talk about the killing and the crime, but who talks about the white killing? I mean, they do mass killings.
Crime is all over.
Crime. You go in and you shoot everybody up in the movie, but then you want to talk about, I shoot what's near me. I'm not going way over there, and it doesn't make it right. It's nothing to compare.
Crime is wrong.
But just don't drive on the fact that, the black people killing all the black people, and they shooting and all of that. So because it's stress, it's drugs, it's no job, it's all of that related. You get mad over simple things. I may owe you $5, and it goes into an argument, and then you have guns that are accessible, which is why we work with the group with moms. Let's secure these guns. Let's make sure that we're locking them up. We have babies that are actually getting guns, killing each other.
Oh, 100%.
That's not crime. That's just a mistake that shouldn't have happened.
Elizabeth Robinson is with an organization called Change.
Right, I know Elizabeth.
And
I work with her.
It's a group of moms who've lost sons to violence.
That's right.
And they're proactive in trying to bring programs that catch these young men before they end up being either the shooter or the person who got shot.
That's right.
And I think that's a good place for investment.
Yes.
So when it comes to crime, my approach has always been, Pat, I want to get your thought on that, is, okay, let's start with a little bit of why, and then let's jump right to how we fix it.
That's right.
Instead of dwelling so much on the fact that it happened.
That's right.
Because it keeps happening if we don't address it on either side.
Right. That's exactly
How do you get people to move to a solution-based approach?
I think
there are people who care now on both racial sides, but we got to get them there. You care in Scotlandville, you're a leader. I'm talking about people who don't live there coming in and caring and being a part of the solution.
Where you have the volunteers in public school, okay, it's mentor. Okay, you got to catch them.
Yep.
Okay, like we talked earlier about the kidpreneur, when you got little bitty people engaged in something, they're not gonna go get in trouble.
No.
Because they see the millions.
Yeah.
My baby say call her Billionaire Bailey. Okay, she's 10 years old. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is you catch them in elementary.
Yeah.
Okay, and you pour into them. You said John Smith was gonna be coming on.
Yeah.
John Smith poured into my baby.
Yeah.
Okay, she's 40 years old now. If she came out of Banks, it would be no reason for her to go that direction because she wanted to be like John. And she's now a global engineer. So catch them in elementary, pour into those babies. We have Southern University right there. I told them not long ago, we need, in education department and business, we have enough students that every student can be assigned to a child in Scotlandville.
Right, right.
That's how you get started.
Quickly, how can people find you if they want to find you or learn more about what you're doing?
225-964-7824. That's my cell.
Oh, my God.
225-964-7824.
Your world is
Pat
about to be...
LeDuff. Oh, it already is. Pat LeDuff at yahoo.com.
All right.
Text me. Don't call me.
Oh, you're going to get some texts. All right, let's talk about a fantastic program that is doing wonderful things. We'll do it next here in studio on The Clay Young Show.
All right.
So excited to tell you about this program that's happening now in Baton Rouge. It's called Barbers, Books, and Badges. Joining me to talk about it is Sergeant Elvin Howard with the Baton Rouge Police Department and John Smith with 100 Black Men. And
great to be here.
So we talked about this on the audio podcast, and the program Barbers, Books, and Badges involves education.
Correct.
It involves dealing with some of the traumas that young people have dealt with.
Right.
And haircuts.
Yes.
So tell me about it, the genesis of this. What is it?
Well, actually, one day a group of us were sitting in the barber shop, Sergeant Howard, myself, Ryan Clark, the barber, and we started talking about what is it we can do to help make a difference in the lives of especially young African-American males. And what came to mind was that reading comprehension is a big deal, because with reading comprehension, it changes the trajectory of life.
Yep.
But where's a space that we could naturally accomplish that? It was the barbershop. But what's another issue you talked about a little while ago? The relationship between law enforcement and the African-American community. So if we put all of this together, we came up with this Barbers, Books, and Badges, reading comprehension, the barbershop, building relationships between law enforcement and young African-American males. And that was the genesis of this initiative.
And so a young man comes in, he picks out a book, Sarge, reads the book, writes a little bit of a report on what the book was about, and then he gets a voucher to get a haircut.
That's it. That's it.
You know, a haircut's a big deal to a young man,
Right.
keeping a fresh cut, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that.
Well, that's the key. Like with any programs we do
Yeah.
in the community, we got to get them there first.
Yeah.
It has to be something that attracts them.
Right,
That
right.
catches their eye.
Right.
Everybody like to look good.
And we're looking at some pictures of some
Right.
of the kids in the chairs.
Everybody like to look good.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
kids like to look good. Our initial thought was to try to start this prior to the beginning of the school year, but we had Ida and some other things that kind of slowed us down.
Right.
But we know that kids like haircuts. They like to look good. So we said, okay, well, they're coming in to get a haircut anyway.
Yeah.
These parents are bringing them in. So that's the main focal point right there. Where can we meet where we can also help them out without them even knowing they're being helped out?
That's exactly right. So when and as I referenced earlier, the current episode of my show on podcast225.com, and y'all go download that show, you talked about having a dialogue with a group of those kids and asking them what they wanted to do, and what was the surprising thing they said that you didn't think they were going to say?
Majority of them said they wanted to be a police officer. I was
think
shocked.
about that.
I was shocked. I was not expecting that. I think everybody in the barbershop, everybody looked at each other like, did they just say that? Because you usually hear doctor, lawyer, basketball player, football star, whatever, artist. And majority of them, at least close to 50% of them, said they wanted to be law enforcement officers. So
Did they say why?
No, no, they didn't. I don't know if it was because we were there, and they saw it and it looks cool. I think a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
I always said that there are two types of people in the world: people who want to be cops and people who wanted to be cops and couldn't.
Right.
So I think that ultimately, I'm a cop. So I think that everybody want to be a cop in their heart.
So you got a chance to watch the interaction between
Yes.
Sergeant Howard and these young men.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, because you're outside looking at it, it's got to do your heart really well to see cops and kids having conversation, right?
Oh, most definitely. And what was so interesting about it was an organic situation.
Yeah.
No one said, you must talk to me. They were standing there, they began to have a conversation, and they just interacted well. And I think the end result was all of a sudden, now they have a different view of law enforcement. They know someone who is in law enforcement personally, outside of a situation that was confrontational.
Right.
So everybody in the barbershop, Sergeant Howard is right, when they kept saying law enforcement, we started looking at each other and say, that's a good thing.
Well, so the program is going on right now, and if you listen to the audio podcast, you'll learn more about the history of how it started. This concept is not brand new. We talked with Ryan Clark, who is not the football player, but the barber Ryan Clark, and I think you guys are doing great. Listen, in a few weeks after you've gone through a series of these with kids, will y'all come back?
Most definitely. And a couple of other things we talked about in the
15
podcast.
seconds, go ahead.
I can do it in 15 seconds. It was a collaborative effort between the barbershop, law enforcement, 100 persons in the community, and also Mrs. Douglas, who is the wife of Reginald Douglas, who was the principal at Estruma High School. All of them came together to make this become a reality.
Thank you all for doing this.
Thank you.
All right, next week, Caroline Romer, the daughter of former Governor Buddy Romer, will be our guest here on the Clay Young Show. Go Tigers, go Jags. See you next week.
All right.